All right, welcome back, everybody. Blender 10. We got something a little bit different today. Bit of a review, I guess.
Maybe a bit of a post-mortem rant, if you
Yeah,
will.
yeah. Fair enough. We finally got around to checking out the Big Bang Theory,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
heard a few people were talking about it, and
Mm-hmm.
we're both big YS fans, and we were excited at the opportunity, I will say, or the possibility of becoming shell doors.
We were very open to the idea. I mean, I think we
Yeah.
went into it with a lot of willingness to enjoy it.
Absolutely. And there's definitely there's a little bit of potential here.
Mm-hmm.
If they ever bring it back, and
For future work, you mean?
for future seasons. If sometimes that happens. You get a Dexter situation,
Yeah,
right, where they bring
yeah.
Arrested Development.
They certainly set some foundation there, I guess. But,
Absolutely. I'd love to see what
Yeah.
Netflix could do.
All right. Well, so I guess first we'll go into what we feel was done well, right?
Yeah, strengths first. Yeah, for sure. So there's a few. Some of the callbacks are accurate, highly accurate. So in season 5, episode 2 of The Big Bang Theory, they reestablish Sheldon's love of red vines, which we all know from the Young Sheldon series, and some other character details, some real specifics they got absolutely correct. So Sheldon, his desire to become a notary is acknowledged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, which is to me an important part of the character. Like, I'm glad that they left that detail in.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah. They show it they reestablish when he's doing finances for Raj's family in The Big Bang Theory, and they get some of the more mainstream stuff too as well, like the love of trains. Sheldon has
Love of
trains.
trains. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mostly very fan servicey, that one.
Yeah, that one's like
Yeah.
one's like so obvious. It would have been strange if they didn't get it right.
A lot of the details are kind of fan service details, but there's some more obscure stuff, I think.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. I think with the trains one, it's like there's a whole episode of Young Sheldon.
Yeah.
Basically, when he gets that job, kind of giving people tours around the little museum. So it's like that one kind of. You could probably read the IMDb, and you would still know enough to be able to do that. And there's a few, nods to iconic scenes, especially from what was interesting is we see some of the flashbacks. So in Young Sheldon, of course, during the setting of that show, they have those wonderful scenes where you see all the people Sheldon is going to meet in the future, and they're all doing things that were really relevant for the time. So that the Amy character, she's reading a copy of.
Oh yeah, there's a flashback.
Yeah, there's a flash.
Little house,
flash sideways from the Young
to
Sheldon.
the little house on the prairie.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah. And I think you were telling me that was accurate. Like
Yes.
accurate.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So I did do the research on that. They so she's reading the 1971 printing of Little House, which
That works in the
that
timeline.
works perfectly. Yeah.
And on top of that, we also saw the radio was the Hallicrafters
Yes.
S38D. And
We confirmed that.
Yeah, and I think seeing stuff like that really reinforces with Young Sheldon how much care they had in designing the sets.
The set designers, yeah.
And so I think the bar is set really high anytime you're going to do like a spin-off or something. Like if you're going to do like what they ended up doing with Big Bang Theory or some other stuff we're going to talk about later, it shows how high the bar that Young Sheldon sets is. But
Yeah.
they don't nail everything.
It's and the care and the heart that went into it is to me the core of the series. And I wish that had stayed consistent to all of the people who are developing this kind of art, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
No, it's nice to have some fan service here and there, but really, Young Sheldon, there's a reason it has fans, and it's because of those little notes. And they didn't always preserve that in Big Bang Theory, I think. Like, for instance, there was a couple episodes, the luminous fish effect and the pork chop indeterminacy in The Big Bang Theory, which really diminished Sheldon's twin sister, really diminishes her intelligence. Like, they tried to play it up like she's stupid.
Yeah.
that was not the case in the original
No.
Young Sheldon show
Yeah,
at all.
exactly. Yeah, they've really undermined the characters that they created.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I think that's offensive to fans. And also, they overused Bazinga.
Oh, they so
That was
overused
such a
Bazinga.
small detail in the Young Sheldon show.
Yeah, there was no fans that latched on to Bazinga, but they turned it into an entire like bit in the show.
Yeah, once he started using it, it never really stopped. And yeah, little notes like that, I think, are one of the big problems.
Yeah, but in my opinion, it gets way worse. Like I think there's some levels of criticism that we can have here with the show that are kind of unforgivable, in my opinion.
This is where we do. You've been much more public about your critical opinion. Strap in, folks.
Yeah. Oh, we get a bit passionate, but and we do differ a little bit on our outlook. You're a bit more optimistic than I am.
Yeah, I think that's true.
But I think it's time to get into it, unfortunately. So the post-YS creations that have come out of the Sheldon IP they truly boggle our mind here. I mean, we've already talked extensively about the care that was involved with carrying over some of the characters' traits, and they did do a good job of that in some aspects. However, there's some decisions made that to us it just simply cannot be excused as people in the Sheldon fan base. And one of my biggest gripes with continuity was a result of what can only be described as just a colossal amount of oversight. I mean, these people do not care about the lore that Young Sheldon has worked tirelessly to craft over the years. The money-hungry Hollywood producers decided, while making the sequel series, The Big Bang Theory, to cast Lance Barber, who we all know to have originated the role of George Sr. as the childhood bully of Leonard Hofstadter.
And we do love... George Sr. is, like, with the exception of Sheldon himself, is probably our favorite YS character.
Yeah, definitely the heart of the one of the hearts of the show. Yeah, and like you said, aside from Sheldon himself, it's clearly one of the best characters. And so they bring him back. They bring him back as Jimmy Speckerman, the actor. I mean, they bring the actor back as Jimmy Speckerman, and he comes to reconcile with Leonard in a heartwarming moment for the show. Anyone who is an actual fan of the YS universe, of course, might as well have had their hearts frozen in carbonite. The oversight completely undermines the complexity of George Sr. Does that make sense? Does that make any sense to you?
No, I know what you mean. That one did actually hurt to see.
The love that we have for this character, it hurts deeply. And okay, and then to make it even more confusing, all right, stay with me here. They bring the same actor back in the 2018 Big Bang episode, the VCR Illumination. Mr. Nebula, can you throw that up on the screen real quick for us? Thank you. So there's this archived old videotape that Sheldon watches, and Mr. Barber's playing George Sr. And we here at Blender 10 Studios are honestly speechless at the carelessness that must have been involved with this mistake. The legacy of George Sr. will never be forgotten thanks to fans like us. But the Big Bang Theory has forever tainted the lore, and that is absolutely unforgivable in my opinion. Oh, and I almost forgot. We also have another Young Sheldon spinoff in the works.
Oh God! Yeah, you're right.
This, I mean, we're pretty much agreeing on this one. I feel.
This one is the worst.
Like if you're watching this video, I know what you're thinking. Surely the clear choice character for a spinoff series would be Paige Swanson, obviously.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's an important kind of foil and opposite to Sheldon as a character, because we have this other character who is also a genius, but is very different in a lot of ways. Kind of, she's a parallel character, another child prodigy, but is not only different in herself, but definitely is exposes some things about the other characters that we previously didn't know.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. It's like you said, it's the perfect parallel to Sheldon. And Paige is essentially, as many critics agree, the Joker of the Sheldonverse.
Yeah.
Sheldon learns both jealousy and compassion from his interactions with her. She's not only extremely smart, but she's also incredibly relatable. Ask any given person on the street, and they will tell you they resonate with Paige Swanson from Young Sheldon. It's a universal experience.
True.
Anyway, Georgie is getting the spinoff for some reason. Georgie Cooper Jr., the older brother of Sheldon, and not even in the top 6 possible spinoff characters. I am astounded that the blueprints for what could have been an all-time great show were sitting right in front of Chuck Lorre's eyes, and he refused to acknowledge it. George's entire arc is already on Young Sheldon. We have essentially seen the end of what his life will bring. Paige, on the other hand, provides endless opportunities for new and interesting stories. She can invent things that change the world and go to the latest friend gatherings.
I agree. That could be a great coming-of-age story from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And look, we understand with the Big Bang Theory. That's one thing. Making the Big Bang Theory as a follow-up is kind of one thing. Because we all want to know what happens to Sheldon. He goes to university. What happens next?
Yeah, exactly. No, I get it. That makes sense. But George and Mandy, as they're calling it, will consist of unremarkable, unscientific pandering to the mainstream. We want more stories that are part of the extended universe and that expand on the ideas the show was first built on.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think everyone at Blender 10, we just feel like our mighty little man here, he's not getting what he deserves post YS.
Yeah.
And that's I mean that's
just not. It's very disappointing, honestly. And I guess that's all we really have to say. That's our little Young Sheldon rant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's it for today.
We got stuff. We got other stuff is coming up soon.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Thank you, everyone. We got some more Blender and content, and some more Blender content. And we got our first podcast episode coming in hot.
Yeah,
it's soon.
It's flying in.
Yeah.
So leave a comment with a suggestion, and don't forget to keep popping it up. And can't wait to see.